We're late. I hate being late. All right, it's 6:03 on the West Coast, 9:03 on the East Coast of America, 2:03 in London, 7:33 in Mumbai, India. That's a weird freaking time. 11:04 just changed over in Kyoto, Japan, and here in Malaysia, as always, it's 1984. I'm Jay Sheldon, and I'm not wearing pants. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh my goodness. We are live as usual. It's, what is it? Monday? Oh my God. Yeah, it's Monday already. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube, rumble.com, and twitch.tv. Also, you might be listening into our podcast afterwards. We put up the audio version of our show as a podcast. So, yeah, you can check that. And thank you. It's amazing the amount of downloads we get from some old fart in Malaysia making chit chat about garbage. But hey, it's a nice break from all the controversial crap on the net these days. So that's what we kind of try and supply you a little bit. I will give you fair warning about tonight's show. It's a little Malaysia centric. We talk about Malaysia because, hey, that's where I live. But, we try and talk about things that are more generic and cover, because we've got listeners in the US, in the UK, India, Australia, New Zealand, you name it. They're all over the planet. But tonight's show is going to be slightly more Malaysia centric. And if you saw from our thumbnail, you'll know why. But anyway, before we get into that, let's get into this. It's the little girl.
Miko update.
Miko update. I have to find a new tune. I can't keep doing na 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 na. It's not the holiday season anymore. That's gone. All right, just a quick Miko update. She's doing great. She really is. She's doing very, very well. And she has been eating us out of house and home. She goes for 2 walks a day. She weighs 11.3 kilos, I think. She's fat as hell. She's not fat, though. She's just solid and doing well. She had a little visit to the vet because, we're freaky parents, and she had this little thing on her lip, and we wanted to check it before it got worse. But anyway, vet gave her antihistamine, thought it might be a little parasite infection, but she checked. There was no parasites. Anyway, that's the dog story, and I'm sticking with it. She's doing well, sleeping in the other room, of course, in the aircon. I have now taken to calling her Puan Sri, because that's just the way she acts, and that's kind of how she gets treated around here, like a proper Puan Sri. All right. Yes. So anyway, we are going to turn over. I got a brand new screen tonight. I hope this works. No promises, but we will try. And I am going to, you might hear my sound become a little freaky, but just bear with it. I tested it and supposedly it works fine. All right. It is our special guest tonight, and welcome in to the show, Zain Azrai. Zain!
Okay, I can talk now. My name is.
You can talk now.
Okay. My name is Zain Azrai. I'm an international battle rapper with over 1 million views in Malaysia, Australia, the United Kingdom, the Philippines, Sweden,
Serious,
and Canada. Yeah, for real. No bullshit. You can Google. You can YouTube me. Zain Azrai. Zain space Azrai.
Okay, I've got your name underneath your picture here on our broadcast, so people can check it out.
Okay,
But,
like this.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'm also a sole working screenwriter based in Malaysia. I've been hired to write feature-length films and TV series by a bunch of Malaysian film production companies since 2019. However, sorry.
Have you got something published, shot?
Okay. Here's the thing. Because I started selling and getting hired to write scripts for production companies around 2019 till now.
Hmm.
Uh, because of pandemic related factors, they've either been postponed or shelved, etc. But I've gotten my deposits, I've gotten paid for them, and all this other
That's
stuff.
the important part.
Yeah. One of my clients is Ismail Kamarul from Reservoir Productions,
Oh, sure.
and and he is the guy. Uh, Reservoir Productions has so many good things to say about Jay Sheldon,
Really?
and yeah, because I was writing something. I was writing something with you in mind.
Mm,
We can talk about that over Teh Tarik because I don't think I can divulge the information, which is why I'm in contact with Jay.
okay. Yeah,
So just to let
we'll keep that P and C for now.
yeah, just to let you all know, I have to admit my bias because I want Jay to be in a few potential projects. So I'm totally biased.
Uh-huh.
So like as a as an actor,
And I
I
have
have
to
to
say,
say
I did not know that before I invited Zane on the show. Okay, so this isn't
or so
priming
you
the
claim,
pump.
or so you claim.
Yeah, so
So
I claim.
but
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I started uh, in the film and television industry about I think in 2007. I was a production assistant for Persona Pictures
Right.
under Shohami Baba for a documentary called 50 Years of Slangor, and I've been director of a few music videos since then. I've been a video editor, colorist, camera operator, and all sorts of other things.
That sounds like
And
somebody very typically in the entertainment business in Malaysia. It's like one leg kick all.
yeah, but the thing is that since 2019, I've just stuck with screenwriter. I usually don't tell people all this other stuff, or else they'll start wanting to include all that shit in the fucking price list. You know? Let's get the fucker to write the script and do the
Welcome
coloring
to
and say what.
Malaysia. Yeah.
Exactly. Welcome to Malaysia. So I've got a lot of opinions about a lot of things, but Jay, you start. What do you want me to talk about?
Well, since you are in the business, and one of the things that I had mentioned was actually, and now I'm trying to find the article. I had sent you an article. This is about the only thing we pre-talked about. Other than that, we don't know
Yeah.
what the hell we're going to talk about. But I
Mm-mm.
had sent you an article from a great website called NoFilmSchool.com. The link is in our show notes tonight. And it says, you should be worried about cinema becoming content. And here's why. Uh, Zane, I know you had a chance to kind of take a look over that. And,
Yeah.
even in the past, I mean, I started in radio back 45 over years ago, I think it was. Obviously, everything has completely changed in broadcasting. I moved into television. I did one feature film, a bunch of shorts and crap like that back in the 80s. And I moved to Malaysia. Next year will be 20 years I've been here.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the TV business, so much changed in my lifetime, unbelievably so.
Mm-hmm.
And now, I mean, I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I truly believe, honestly, television's dead. It it probably doesn't know it yet, but it's dead.
You mean
Uh,
broadcast
I mean,
television?
broadcast television, TV Tiga, ATV, NTV7, RTM, whatever it is. You've got a couple of old machiks in the kampong watching with their antenna TV, if that even exists anymore. And other than that, you subscribe to Astro, and that's about it. But honestly, my opinion, TV's dead, or at least it should be. If it's not dead, shoot it in the head. It's sad because I did so much content when I was here in the beginning for Malaysian television, TV Tiga, 8TV. Hell, I was the voice of 8TV when it first started. Um, NTV7, both in front of the camera, behind the camera. But TV's dead. Content is king. And if it ain't online and you don't have a million or two followers or viewers, you ain't crap, sadly. Uh,
Mm.
and the pandemic, of course, didn't help the industry. In fact, it pretty much shut us down. Only now are people starting to get out and shoot things. I know a lot of my friends in the business, I see their posts and they're out there, they're shooting. But this article was interesting. Did you have a chance to take a look at it? What are your
Oh
thoughts?
yeah, I actually think I love the pandemic. That's super controversial of me. I love the pandemic, but I'll
Really?
get to that later. Yes.
All right.
Uh, be prepared, guys. I'm the villain in this industry. I'm the villain y'all need. So, but we'll get to that.
Good.
Okay, now on to that article that you showed me. Okay,
Mm.
first of all, let's get down to basics. The word content is merely semantics. When you say blah, 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 it's still content. It may be shit content, but it's content. Just because a word has only been in general use recently doesn't mean it's a new thing. It's just a new word for what we for something that's always existed.
Yeah,
Stuff.
it's how we
Stuff.
get it delivered.
Yeah, exactly. So that there it is true that the business is changing. Yes, it is true that the way films are marketed is changing. Yes, it is true that certain types of films will find it harder to have theatrical release. Yes, but is all this a bad thing? No, I don't think all this is a bad thing per se. It merely means that filmmakers and producers need to find new ways of marketing and distributing their films, regardless of whether it is meant only as a schlock entertainment or high art. Grant, there's Mubi, there's the Criterion Channel, therefore supposedly high end art house films or great cinema, and then who's to say that great cinema can't be shown on Netflix at home? If you think about it, right, even in the past few decades, there are limitations of what films you can get made in the Hollywood studio system anyway.
Sure, of course.
Even before Netflix, there were limitations of what you can or cannot show in a Hollywood movie, especially if the restrictions against so-called NC-17 films. You know, they want
Mm.
to avoid the NC-17 rating. But the thing is, if you had an NC-17 type of movie on Netflix, no one's going to give a fuck because they're going to watch it on Netflix anyway. So no one ever thinks about the pros. I was reading some things on psychology, and basically we human beings have a tendency to exaggerate doomsday predictions. Or TV is going to get rid of film, Netflix is going to get rid of film, home video is going to get rid of film. Everything's always going to be getting rid of film. Okay, it's just how things are. Or film is going to destroy theater. It's like there's always this doomsday bullshit. No, these are called industry disruptors. Yes, they do disrupt industries, but they don't actually destroy anything. They merely morph the form of whatever art form that you want to consume.
Mhm.
So people still go to the opera. It's just for rich people, and rightfully so. Do you want to go to the opera? You're your fucking kids.
But don't you think, I mean, no matter what, people are always going to want that cinema experience. I mean,
Exactly.
look, I grew up with we had the Warner Theater in my hometown. And it
Mhm.
was an Art Deco built by Warner Brothers back in the 20s, I believe it was. And I mean, that was cinema. I watched movies in that cinema as a teenager. My first date was at the Warner Theater watching well, I forget the film, but nowadays, of course, it's all just a shoebox. But it's still the cinema experience, you know, and you can't get that sitting at home with no pants on watching Netflix.
Okay, let me address what you just said.
Mm,
The Spider-Man No Way Home justifies the big screen experience. So did Dune.
yep.
Okay, so it's a fallacy that people are not going to the cinemas. They're merely choosing what to watch in the cinemas. Okay, that's number one.
Okay.
Number two, the cold-hearted truth is a lot of the people who want to make films that are supposedly that they refer to as great cinema they're basically giant TV movies. Let's keep it real here. It's But yeah, it's a bunch of guys talking about life in the dining room table. In England, if I'm not mistaken, they're called kitchen sink dramas.
Mm, mm.
So these motherfuckers want to show these kitchen sink dramas on big fucking screen, if possible, 70 mm on fucking IMAX. And I understand. Look, I get it. No matter what you have in mind for your movie, your dream is to have it on 70 fucking IMAX and all this other shit. Even though it's just two guys wanking off of the fucking
Uh-huh.
men's room. But the reality is, the cinemas are gonna prefer films that justify the big screen experience.
True.
Okay,
True.
yeah, and that's that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen West Side Story. I can't comment on that. I haven't seen The Last Duel. I'm planning to though.
Mm,
But if you really look at, in my opinion, if you look at the market today, the movies that generally do justify the big screen experience, they're doing well, like Dune
right.
and Spider Man. And the ones that mostly don't, and that's that. What
But
like
it's sad
I'm
to
sure.
see, like West Side Story is not doing well at all.
But
Uh,
the thing is, it's not necessarily because people don't want to watch it, bro. Think about it. We've
mm,
seen West Side Story. It's like, do you need to go watch? I'm sure it's a great movie, and
mm,
I'm the type of guy who would want to watch it in the big screen. But we
right.
all know the fucking story. Let's just say it's better than the original, like everyone says it is, right? Do I really need to see Darth Vader say, "Luke, I am your father" again on IMAX?
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
it's. I know it's. I
Oh,
mean, it's a
well, though, wait a minute. Now, if you had a chance to watch the original Star Wars on IMAX, I think that would be a thrill. I
that would
saw
be
it
a
when it
thrill.
first came out, when it premiered in a shoebox cinema in Torrington, Connecticut. Um, but yeah, imagine seeing that when that John
Yeah, but
Williams theme rolls in with all the surround sound and everything.
I agree. I agree. But there are 2 points. Number one, how many of those guys are us? How many? Number two,
Okay.
I mean, are we? Is it worth taking your kids and all that during a pandemic to watch Darth Vader say it again? Or okay, because it costs money to go to the cinemas. That's the reality of it, and
Yeah.
people need to pick and choose what they want to see. So let's just say I have a choice between watching Darth Vader say "I'm your father" again, and Spider Man. And this is the one time in the whole fucking month we're gonna go out and spend the night in the movies. We can't watch more than one movie a month. The average person and their families, right?
Mm,
We're
mm,
going for Spider Man, and that's that. Don't get me wrong. I'm a single person. I would watch Spider Man and and Empire Strikes Back on the same month, no problem. But most people are not me,
right. Right.
and this is coming from a guy who can't wait for West Side Story. I'm sure it's better than the first one. I'm sure of it. I can tell. I haven't seen it, but come on, man, it's Steven Spielberg.
Sure.
But the reality is, people are gonna pick and choose what they see in the cinemas because of the high cost and the high risk, etc., etc. And because of that, not all movies are gonna make it. They're gonna pick and choose.
Yeah.
And the thing is that uh, it comes down to my original point. Producers will simply have to rethink how they're going to market and distribute their films. That's all. It's not gonna die.
Mm,
It's not gonna not people aren't gonna. It's not like people are not gonna watch it. It's just that they have to rethink how they're gonna. Everyone will still like great food, but now you have to figure out how to use the fucking grab app,
mm.
and it's that simple. Okay. And
Well,
as a matter of fact, there are certain advantages that streaming provides, which the theatrical distribution doesn't. Like for example, for the first time in history, the biggest TV series in the world are Money Heist and Squid Game, which are not American. The idea of the two biggest TV series in the world being foreign language and non-American was unthinkable 10
yeah,
years ago.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and these days, and with all due respect, I love Americans. I love you. You're American. I love Americans. I love American movies. However, from what I can see of the younger, most of the younger American screenwriters, right, is that uh, they are less likely to watch films with foreign subtitles. They're less likely to watch the classics you and I both know,
Right.
and they fail to understand that regardless of where you sit on the fence politically, no one outside of America gives a fuck that you are leftist or rightist. As far as the rest of the world is concerned, you guys are just two heads of the same on the same dragon. No matter who is in charge, it's still going to go to other countries and bomb people. Let's keep it real here. That's exactly what you Americans. So when you
It, if you
when the
have
American,
oil, you're in trouble.
sorry,
If you have oil, you're in trouble.
Olio.
Oil, petroleum,
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
in the ground.
And yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just happy that Malaysia sucks up to all foreign powers.
I was going to say why we haven't invaded over here is beyond me because, Malaysia's a very
You know,
oil rich nation.
you know why? Because we suck so much American cock that it's
Hey, hey,
easier. It's just
hey, hey! We have to keep it a little civilized, okay?
I'm sorry.
A
I'm sorry.
little civilized.
Malaysians suck up to so many foreign powers. They don't need to do that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
But you fools are still watching CNN for your news over here. You've got to stop that. You've got to stop that.
For me, okay, for me as an individual, I look at as many foreign sources of news as possible,
Please do. Yes.
whether it's CNN or whether it's Al Jazeera or whether
Oh,
it's independent news
the worst Al Jazeera.
or
I've
whether
been
it's independent news, etc., etc.
I've been
So,
looking
but
at Al Jazeera feed on my Facebook page. It is unbelievable the amount of fear porn these people. I mean, it's bad enough you get the Malay Mail headlines and all that crap where they're trying to scare the hell out of everybody. But Al Jazeera, I mean, a lot of them have come around and realized. I know we weren't going to talk much about the pandemic, but with this new Omicron crap, which is basically just a bad flu, they're still trying to hold on to scaring the hell out of everybody. And Al Jazeera and what was the other one? Well, the Malay Mail, of course. I forget what the other one was, but they're still running all these "Oh my God, the winter of death" headlines. So
okay,
yeah.
there's a reason for that. Okay, I'm not gonna talk about so much about the pandemic as from
Mm,
the point of view of science and politics, etc. I'm just gonna talk about how the media works. You see, the reality is that when there's more engagement, they profit more because
of
of
course, they're going for the clicks.
they're going for the clicks.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I mean, yes, the world isn't perfect. Yes, there are threats. Yes, there are wars. Yes, people do bad shit. Yes, there's disease. Yes, there's disasters. These things exist. Yes, correct, 100%. However, we have to understand that any media which is owned by a private corporation, ultimately their main priority is to their shareholders.
Sure.
And regardless of whether you're a Democrat, Republican, believe in AMNO, PH, or you believe in aliens, or whoever, or worship Satan, or wherever it is, at the end of the day, as long as the media, as long as it's someone saying something, you always have to question the motivation, even if it's someone who's a blogger
Hmm.
online.
Absolutely. Yeah.
People think there are some people who believe that independent so-called alternative news outlets are free from the biases of the corporate media. That is not true.
There's
uh
still an agenda there. They're still looking
there
for
is still
clicks. Yeah.
there's still an agenda there,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why I was reading Believing in Magic, the psychology of superstition, and there was this one experiment where basically the people who believe in astrology, uh, horoscopes, and the people who don't believe in horoscopes were put into a room or something,
Right.
and they were given papers. Some papers say that horoscopes make sense. Some of them say they don't. Now, the optimist would think that because they've got all this material, they will learn more about each other's perspectives and get along better. But what actually happens is, uh, what's that word again? CD con con. I forgot that word. Anyways, it's on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, so basically, what really happened in this experiment was they would read what they chose, what the material that conformed to their bias,
Mm,
and dug in their heels respectively, and they became even more polarized.
right.
Look, personally, I think horoscopes are bullshit, but that's not the point of what I'm saying. My point is that when you have multiple sides of people, and then you feed them information or news outlets that are of a variety, it is human nature to just choose the ones that uh,
Fit your
uh,
narrative.
fits your perspective, your particular narrative, and dig in even more, and
Yeah.
that becomes even more conflicted.
Yeah.
I think the problem with the United States at the moment is that uh, because of the divide between the left and right, regardless of where you stand here, it doesn't matter. When they have lost sight of the basic principle that it's only an American thing, and when you include that in your storytelling, even in a subtle way, it alienates foreign audiences to more and more,
So,
regardless of what you believe.
so in other words, you don't look at the U.S. or something that's going on. Or let's say there've been protests all around the world against lockdowns and mandates and things. You don't look at those and get inspired by those people and go, "Yeah, I want to do that too."
Let me put it this way: for me personally, I see a broken system.
Mhm.
Because the thing is that, okay, let's just say for the sake of argument that COVID has 100% of people who catch COVID die. The worst case scenario, right? Let's just say that's true. Okay. Now, at the end of the day, doctors and scientists who study this stuff, their specialty is in virology, biology, those sciences. They're not experts in sociology, psychology, politics.
Well,
Okay.
nor should they be.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. When you get a doctor giving advice without without an expert in these other things, then they won't be taking into account the the social and political ramifications of these measures that they're suggesting. Let's just
Mhm.
say these measures actually do work. Like whether or not they work or whatever, I'll leave some other people to discuss it. That's not because everyone else has discussed it. Let's
Sure.
discuss something new. Let's just say that these methods do work. The fact that you're getting a bunch of doctors, even if they're right, right? A bunch of doctors uh, influencing policy without taking into account psychology and politics and sociology is very dangerous because human beings are not rational creatures.
Well, that's for sure.
That,
But
that's no matter where you fall on the philosophically or whatever,
yeah.
they're not rational creatures.
But
When you don't take
shouldn't a doctor or a scientist not be influenced by politics and social mores and just follow the science?
the- yeah, when they should follow the science when they're doing peer review research,
Okay.
and when they're publishing stuff like that, or when they're curing a patient, or when they're in the lab. But when you're talking about policies that affect entire nations, you have to take into account economics, uh, sociology,
But that doesn't change the
psychology.
science.
It doesn't change the science, but the thing is that it changes how the long term overall impact these policies will have on society.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like for example, someone from Ireland was telling me that what's happening in Ireland right now is that whole families are basically what's that word for it? They're as families are becoming more estranged from each other
Mm-hmm. Sure.
over who gets vaccinated and who doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether or not who is right. The fact that that is a social, that is a social problem, which people who study viruses will not be able to comprehend, and neither should they.
Right.
When you get what I'm saying? When you got an economy, when it comes to uh, setting up policies for countries, you have to listen to all the disciplines, not just the biologists. You have to look at the political scientists. You have to look at the sociologists, the psychologists, the economists, all these guys put together. You don't just listen to the doctors, even if they're 100% right, and ignore all these other
Wait a minute, wait
disciplines.
a minute. Why would you not just listen to the doctors even if they're 100% right? Doesn't make sense if you're dealing with
No, no,
public
no, no.
health.
Yes, but the thing is, let's just say all the doctors are right, and certain, they have all these policies, but these policies cause social divide. And then you're getting into mental health, and then you're
Okay.
getting into the suicides that come from the lockdowns, and then
Okay.
you're getting into the economics, and then when the economy tanks, and then more people commit suicide. That's a fact. When the GNP of a country goes down, it actually correlates to more suicides,
Right.
more people starve, etc., etc., etc. The
True.
doctors, even if they're even if they're 100% correct, they would not they would not be uh, trained to figure out all these other factors. Which is why, when it comes to public policy includes health, economics, politics, society, social issues, etc. It should be a holistic policy. Should be holistic. It shouldn't just be based on biological health and then excluding all these other disciplines. It's a government policies should be multidisciplinary.
Okay.
Does that make sense, bro? Yeah. So
I understand what you're saying. I'm not sure I completely agree because to me, the science is the science. So if medically you do X and Y is going to happen and the science proves that, then even though that makes some people uncomfortable and it might not be politically correct to say it, that's the science. And that's important that people know that if you do X, Y is going to happen. And maybe you're not
yeah,
comfortable with that, but that's the fact, Jack, you know?
yeah, I get what no, I get 100%. The
Hmm.
scientists should reveal the facts. Yes,
Yeah. And then
they
let
should
the
reveal the
psychologists deal with the effects of it, you know?
yes. But the thing is, we're not listening. We're not even listening to input from
Yeah,
psychologists. We're not
I
listening to input.
yeah, I like the idea of what you said. It's a holistic approach, but let each individual expert in their field just follow the science, tell the truth, and chips fall where they may. But like you said, in a holistic way, so that psychologists deal with the psychological end of things, medical people deal with the medical end of things. That's why I said what you said makes sense, with a little asterisk maybe.
Yeah,
So,
but this is what I mean. This is what our leaders should be doing. They should be getting all these the scientists, the psychologists, the political scientists, the economists, all in one room, and then coming up with a holistic solution
a full
based on
round,
input,
yes, yeah,
a full round thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you don't just
We don't disagree on that. I can see your
yeah,
point very well. Yep. All right.
yes, look, yeah, but that's not what's happening.
No.
And the thing is that okay, getting back to the film industry, when I talk to American screenwriters, okay, first of all, American screenwriters are among the best in the world in terms of technical, in my opinion, technical structure, the technicalities of screenwriting. They're among the best in the world, without a doubt. However, in more situations, when they start discussing about politics and all that, and then I come in from a foreign perspective, that's when a lot of them just go, because then because it's easy for them for a leftist to argue with Republican and vice versa or whatever. But when I come in and say, look, at the end of the day, this is American politics and it alienates people from outside the United States, and you have to understand American diversity and diversity in other countries are not, the nuances and dynamics are not totally the same. That's when a lot of them go, oh shit, they never thought of that, because uh they mix with other most of them mix with other Americans, and it becomes like a bubble,
Yeah, I
and you
often
can see that.
wondered. I don't sense it myself, but I know that after 20 years, if I were to move back to the U.S., I hope not, but if I were, I know there would be a huge culture shock. I didn't have
Mm.
that when I came here. I had to ease my way into it. It took me several years to get things, to lose my Americanisms and incorporate it. And I think by now, after 20 years, I'm pretty full on Malaysian. But um, I really do think there would be a massive culture shock, which I did not have when I moved here. But if I were to go back, I know it would be huge. Um,
I but that's a good, in my opinion, that may be a good thing because
yeah,
from what I've observed, the Americans who have traveled more and who are book smart and street smart, they're the best
hmm,
because they have the technical expertise which comes from their American training, etc.,
right.
as well as a holistic, spiritual, emotional, and social way of thinking. I was having a conversation with someone about the merits of affirmative action.
Right.
So basically, I was saying in Malaysia, you've got the quota system for the dominant ethnic group in the country, and it doesn't work.
Mm,
So my point was, if you have a quota percentage quota system for Hollywood, and then eventually people of color become the ethnic majority of the United States, they might end up like the Malays.
what do you
And
mean?
okay, in my opinion, the reason why the Malays are not progressing is because they know that so and so percentage of companies and so on will be given to Malays anyway.
So they don't have to
So
try.
they don't have to give a shit. And that's the formula for disaster, to have a percentage quota system for the dominant ethnic group in the country.
Hmm.
But she was saying, but Zain, people of color are not the dominant ethnic group in the United States. I said, not yet.
Mm,
And here's the thing. Uh, the majority of Americans under the age of 16 are people of color. So within 10 or 20 years, uh, Americans Americans will be predominantly non-whites. And if people of color become the dominant ethnicities of the United States, and there's still a quota system, they'll become like they are in danger of becoming like the Malays, whereby we're the majority, there's a quota system. Why should we try hard?
yeah.
And that is the risk. I'm not saying it will 100% be like that, but coming from a country where the quota system benefits the dominant ethnic group, when you have a quota system for people of color, and then people of color eventually supersede the population of the Caucasians, then there's the danger of replicating the problems we have with the Malays in Malaysia.
But
And she was
go ahead.
and then she was like, "Oh, I never saw it that way."
Mm.
And she's a screenwriter that I look forward to working with because she is able to see outside of the American perspective.
Right.
However, there are some Americans who I talk to and they go, "You mean there's a quota system for a ethnic majority in other countries? Mind blown."
Yeah.
and
Well,
and
I,
what you're saying?
I'm just, and we're not talking about casting roles in films, because that ethnic thing that's a horse of a different color. But as far as in general hiring, uh, work, production, behind the scenes in film, or whatever your business is, I'm a big advocate of I really don't care what your background is, what your religious belief is, what your color of your skin is, how much melatonin you have in your skin. I'm interested in whether or not you can do the job. And you're the
I
best at what you do doing a job. Whether you're male or female or how much melatonin you have in your skin doesn't matter to me. Can you do the job?
mm,
You know?
I am in my from my perspective, my family takes very a lot of pride in being good at what we do. So I agree with you 100%.
Right.
I bel I believe I do believe in ethnic and gender diversity in the workplace 100%. However, I do not believe that should or can be achieved with a quota system,
Mm,
because when you have a quota system, uh, which the Malays have, it hasn't solved any problems.
yeah, and it's been around
It
for
is,
a very long time.
it's been around for a very long time, and I know I'm Malay, by the way. I know the Malays. A lot of them actually are stupid and lazy. I know a lot of people who are not Malay
And a
can't say
lot of
that.
them are not. Okay.
Okay, yes, but the ones who are not stupid or lazy
Oh, here
are
we
are a
go.
are a small minority, are a small minority, and most of the ones who are not stupid and lazy complain about the ones who are stupid and lazy.
Your fan club is going to slowly just drop off here. Um,
Now, but no, but the thing is that what I've learned from life as well,
yeah.
as long as you are consistently learning, even when you do make mistakes, you correct them, and you're consistently learning, and you're honest and sincere in what you're thinking and feeling, people will ride with you. You will always have people who ride with you. I
Mhm.
was once told by some people in the industry that if I start talking about the flaws of our industry, that I would get less jobs. But I came to a point in my life around 2019 where I'm like, fuck this shit. This can't go on. And guess what? Lots of people have offered me to, offered me jobs, the screenwriting jobs, because I've been talking shit about our industry, but constructively.
Right.
Because
Well,
it's a
that's the thing. I mean, if it's constructive criticism, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. To bitch about
exactly,
something just to bitch about it, to hear yourself talk is useless.
exactly. And
You
the
know,
thing is that, like for example, one of the things I've always said is, you know, we shouldn't make a big deal out of winning awards at film festivals,
thank
regardless of
you.
whether they're real, fake, or
Yeah.
prestigious or not.
Can we just make good
Uh,
films and screw the awards?
Not so much through the awards, but the awards are like chips on the ice cream. You know what I'm
Yeah. I
saying?
mean,
They're like
if we make good films, the awards will come. We
exactly,
have to. The
and the thing
priority is to make good films.
exactly,
I
and the
want
thing
to
is that
go ahead.
sorry, you're saying.
No, go
I
ahead.
think that the thing is that when we try so hard to win awards, we look really do Americans
Pathetic.
use this word? We look beggy.
yeah.
In hip hop, we say beggy.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
UK
Yeah.
hip hop, you say beggy. You're like you're begging for it.
Yeah.
Like you're a porn star or some shit. And and the
But
thing is that
go ahead.
the thing is that the reality is the more sincere we are with what we want to do, the more we are honest with what we came where we came from and what who we are.
Okay.
The irony is the less it's like true love. True love comes to you when you're not looking for it.
Let me take this down a road I wanted to go with you, and that's ask the question: can we make good films with the kind of ridiculous censorship crap we have to put up with in Malaysia?
Okay, first of all, we have to look at, okay, what I'm about to say will always ruffles feathers, but I'm stating facts. Number one, LPF, the censorship board in Malaysia, their jurisdiction is only for terrestrial broadcast television and theatrical releases,
Right.
not for internet content. Therefore, anything that is streaming, whether it's View, whether it's WeTV or Netflix or Amazon Prime, they're beyond the jurisdiction
The
of
reach.
LPF.
Yeah. Yeah.
As per the movie Daulat, there's a movie called Daulat or Movie. It's made by this guy called Iman Isha, if I'm not, or something like that. He's on my Facebook. Basically, okay, regardless of whether you like the movie or not, it's groundbreaking because it shows a political party winning a Malaysian election. They're pretty much parodying all these politicians we know, and in the end, Malaysia has a spoiler alert, a female prime minister who talks to the camera about being an asshole and how being an asshole takes you far in life.
Wouldn't that be nice?
So yeah, but that no, it actually came out. It's on movie right now.
Mm. Yeah.
And the thing is, now it's an issue of who has the guts to make this kind of content. That's all.
Sure.
And
And, and that leads me to another thing I wanted to bring up with you, and that is whether or not I don't know that we talked about this offline previously, but have you seen or have you heard of the movie Pig?
I haven't seen Pig, but I've been wanting to watch it, so I'm not.
Oh my God,
I
Zane!
hear it's. I heard it's amazing, so
It
I haven't seen
is
it.
it is beyond amazing. Nicolas Cage, if he doesn't get an Oscar for that film, then nobody deserves one. It is brilliant. It is one of the
Mm.
best films I have ever seen. It's going right into my top 10 list. Cage, who you can take and you can give. Cage has done some really stupid stuff and he's done some amazing work, and this is his most amazing. But here's my point, that film will never be shown, sadly, in this country simply because of its title. And
With all due,
that's a crime.
with all due respect, Jay. Number one, number one, uh, you don't need to watch it on a streaming platform to be able to watch it.
No, that's
Number
exactly, yeah.
number two, number two, if it was on movie right now, no one can do shit. And end of story.
Yeah, and in fact, it always makes me laugh when I see this film has been banned, that film has been censored, we cut half the film out of this and that, and I'm thinking, hello, McFly. It's
Okay, Jay.
2022. Have you heard of torrents and streaming? Wait.
Okay,
Have you heard of the internet? What do you
Jay.
think you're
I
preventing
agree.
people from seeing?
I agree with you. How I'm just saying that I agree with you 100%. I'm just saying that we're pretty much complaining about a ghost that no longer exists, Vic.
Yeah, you're
And
right. You're right. Yeah.
because I mean, look, a Malaysian movie showed a woman becoming prime minister and talking to the camera about how screwing people gets you ahead in life. Okay, and then they have a scene where she's like worshiping Machiavelli. Okay, done. So
Yeah.
but now it's an issue of whether our local filmmakers would have the guts to go in that direction. Most of them don't have the guts to go in that
Sure.
direction, to be honest.
And you know what we continuously get are these stupid films that are just made to put butts in the cinema seats. Uh, you know, Chichak Man and whatever other stuff, garbage
Uh,
crap we put
okay,
out there. Um,
I'm not gonna talk shit about Chichat Man
well, no, I'm
because
not. I'm not singling out Chichak Man. I just couldn't bring another one of those. Oh, scenario movie, whatever, is
okay,
another one.
okay. Now, if we you see okay, first of all, Chichat Man's director is someone I know, and we'll leave it at that. But
Yeah,
and
I'm
also
not
I got no
dishing
problem.
TikTok Man. I think the visual effects and all was an interestingly made film. But the one I will dish directly is the scenario idiot pieces that were out there.
Okay,
And there's
now
been a lot of
here's the
other
thing.
that style of garbage that was just made in 3 weeks to put butts in cinema seats.
Okay, here's the thing. Um, I won't I won't talk about whether or not I like or dislike these local movies because once you go in that direction, then it becomes a slippery slope. What I will look at, what I will look at is uh, overall impact on the industry. Honestly, and you may not agree with this, as long as the scenario movies make money and all those guys get paid and the crew get paid, all power to them. Doesn't matter what I think. However, to me, a bigger threat is more and more Malaysian filmmakers making films that are supposedly art, but they're not sustainable. You see, if you're making a flop movie and it's like Akira Kurosawa's Ran,
Hmm.
I am with you. Then it's worth losing so much money because you just made Ran. Yeah, I
Okay.
get it. But the thing is, when you flush money down the toilet over a movie that's supposed to be of artistic credibility and ain't, it's not,
Right.
then it's even more harmful. It's even more harmful because then you're basically discouraging investors from funding even other movies who that are that are daring, etc., etc.
Yeah, but
You
that's
see the
that's that's the extension of my argument that I mean I've been told in the past we make these kind of movies because that's what sells. and yet you get a decent film from another country and put that in the cinema, a good film, a well-made film with an interesting story, and that still sells. It's the old, I use this analogy. If all I give you to eat is a McDonald's burger, and you know that is the only thing you're going to get to eat for the rest of your life, you're going to find ways to just love that McDonald's burger. But
But
if
that's
I
not what is
but
happening.
if I one day give you a filet mignon cooked to perfection, you're going to see the difference and you're going to want more filet mignon. And you're going to say,
From the perspective,
screw the
from the
McDonald's burger.
from the perspective of a guy who likes prosperity burgers, and filet mignon, I agree with you. However, that the reality is that's not what's happening today. The average Malaysian audience today, right? The fact is, they know what is good because Netflix is and Amazon Prime and all that, they're everywhere. Okay, so the reality is, Astro and Media Prima's ratings are decreasing every year. That's a fact. No one. That's something no one can deny. So
Yeah.
the truth is, what's happening is the market forces are educating our audiences.
Yeah, this circles back around to what we started talking about, where whether or
Yes,
not, things like Netflix and that, because you're right, that is an outlet that you have an audience you have that is not subject to the censorship, is not, you know, even the theaters, whether or not they'll buy a film, the Wayang thing or not, that it has to play. And, that's another thing people in other countries may not understand. We have a rule here that if it is a Malaysian film, you're required to get, I don't know the specifics here, but correct me if I'm wrong. You're required to give it a certain amount of screenings in the cinema.
yeah, wajib tayang.
Wajib tayang, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay, this goes back to what I said. I personally think the pandemic is great for our industry, but you have to understand. But my philosophy of life is more brutal and nihilistic.
Hmm.
You see, for many years, Malaysia's film industry has needed a cleanup, a reset, the big reset, so called.
The
But
big
but but but
reset.
but
As
the
a
thing is,
rabbit hole we're not going to go down.
yeah. Okay, whatever the big reset is, what we yeah. But the thing
Right.
is, Malaysia's film industry really does need a big reset.
I think
Because
what it needs is a big kick in the ass.
yes, and here's the thing: the cold hard reality is the only thing that can give that cold hard kick in the ass is COVID. There's nothing else. The
Well,
Finas
but
won't
in,
do
in,
it.
in what way? What's that going to change?
Okay, the thing is that what COVID is doing to our industry is that those who are really, really dedicated, who want to spend the rest of their lives in this industry and who are capable, they will last the storm. Everyone else will be swept away.
Okay. All right.
And I think, and for our specific industry, I think that's necessary. Look, as someone who works in the industry, let me tell you a cold-hearted fact, right? The reality is most of our directors do not take whatever they're doing seriously. I know this one dude. I'm not gonna mention his name,
Please don't.
but the guy, yeah, but the guy wanted to do a superhero movie and won't even read the fucking comic book I sent him. And I know another guy who wanted to do um who wanted to do a movie about this other topic, whatever. And then I just sent a PDF book, read it. You're the director, right? And he doesn't. They won't even Google this shit, bro,
Wow.
because they know, and on a subconscious level, they know they don't need to because there's Wajib Tayang, and then there's all these other things. If they got like 50 friends who say that you're talented, you're Malaysia has lots
Mm.
of talents. It's just the government's not giving you money and all that. And granted, the most of my clients are amazing dudes. They when I push them, they read what I send them. They do the research. After I point out that you're doing a movie based on this subject matter, and then we need to do research this, and so you because you're the director.
Right.
We have a small handful of good directors who take up the challenge, who are not intimidated by me. But the majority are not. The majority want a writer who simply is uh, a glorified typewriter, who agrees with everything they say, who provides no constructive feedback whatsoever. They have an outline, you're going to write it, and that's that.
Yeah.
No feedback whatsoever.
Hit
And
hit the
the thing,
beats and don't do anything outside the box.
no, and
Yeah.
even then, I'm okay with hitting the beats as long as the beats are good and make sense. But if
Yeah.
I tell you this beat doesn't make sense because of X and Y, we need maybe we can do this. But then a lot are intimidated by that.
Mhm.
A lot of them are intimidated by that.
Right.
And as far as I'm concerned, if the only thing that can wipe y'all out is a pandemic, I welcome it.
Okay.
I
We have done almost an hour here. Unbelievably, it has flown by.
Mhm.
But there are a couple of things that I wanted to get into with you. So let's do kind of a snapshot thing. Just give me a few lines, 30 seconds, on a couple of topics that I wanted to hit on with you. They're a bit
Okay.
political, sort of. One yes, one no. But I
Hmm.
just love your perspective because of the way you think.
Hmm.
Malaysia threatened with a ban from international sports event because of our political discrimination against Israel. Your thoughts?
Okay. Okay, for the record, I have friends who are Israeli citizens who are right wing as hell, who believe the Palestinians should get wiped out, etc., etc. And I also have friends who are good Jewish people who have been to Israel and they disagree with Israeli government and IDF's policies against the Palestinians.
Okay.
So I want you to know, just I want to make it clear
Mm,
that I know people from both sides of the divide, Jewish people who I consider my friends. I don't necessarily agree with my Jewish right wing friends, but again, like I said, never allow disagreements to get in the way of finding out other people's perspectives.
excellent.
Now, in my
And valid,
yes,
constructive discussions.
yes,
Yep.
and the thing is, when you block them out, then you're not solving any problems. You're just enforcing the idea that
And yeah, you're
uh,
creating your own echo chamber.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, I believe that we should not ban Israeli athletes and artists from taking part in our events. And I'll tell
Sports
you
is
why.
sports, politics is politics.
Yes, but there's a deeper reason.
Okay.
Sports is sports, art is art.
Right.
And here's another thing. If uh if if racist people say that Malaysia is not capable of beating Israel and that's the real reason why we're banning them, they're not wrong.
Okay.
That's the cold-hearted truth.
All right.
Because our
And go ahead
wait, let me finish.
quickly.
Now, if we allow them to take part in our to come into our country and take part in these competitions fairly, like gentlemen, and then our athletes rise up to the challenge and win and shake hands after the match, that is a stronger and more constructive and peaceful way of protesting and making our point than simply banning them outright.
There you go. All right, one last one, and this is a real curveball for you. I know you are a man of faith, so I want to ask if it was announced that aliens are real, how and or would that affect your faith?
Number one, whether I am a man of faith or not is up to debate, but we
Okay.
won't go into that.
All
Number
right.
two, number two, the Quran explicitly states that Allah is Lord of the worlds, not world, worlds. Therefore, the existence of parallel dimensions and life on other planets does not contradict my belief system, and that's that.
Interesting. Thank you. Good. Cool beans. Wow, Zane, that hour, bam, just like that it went by. It's
Mm,
amazing. You're a crazy man, and
yes,
we love you for it.
I hope so.
Yes, indeed. Please come back and we'll talk some more about some other stuff. I love your opinions. I don't agree with
Thank
them
you,
all,
Tony.
but we don't have to. And I'll tell you, folks, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have this nutball on my show tonight. Because, and I say that with all due respect and love, because we do not agree about everything. We absolutely do not. But we respect each other's right to have that opinion, agree or not. and we'd love to have these discussions, throw stuff back and forth, throw crap against the wall, see what sticks, and at the end of it, we may or may not have convinced the other one of our arguments, but at least we had an interesting 60 minutes. Zain, thank you again so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Jay.
All right, fantastic. Zain Azrai, as in Azrai. Hey, where can people find you if they want to get in touch or add you on as a friend?
You
Or
can go to me. You can find me on Zain Azrai tweets on Twitter,
okay,
and you can also add me on Zain Azrai official on Instagram. I've been locked out of my Instagram, but I'll eventually get back in. And you can also find me. Am I what's it called again? Official. I'm also on Facebook.
okay,
Zain Azrai or Zain Azrai official fan page. You can look them up on Facebook and very easy to find.
cool.
And
beans.
I just want everyone to know that I do believe that the pandemic is an issue. I do believe that I do believe COVID exists, and I'm vaccinated. I got the booster, etc. However, I do believe that each individual should decide for themselves whether to get the vaccine or not, and whether or not why they choose to get it or not get it is besides the point. Every individual should decide. Number one, and please do not misconstrue what I said. I'm not saying that we shouldn't listen to doctors and scientists. We should. I'm just saying we should listen to doctors, scientists, sociologists, economists, political scientists, psychologists, all in one go for a holistic solution for society at large. So please don't say that I'm anti-science. I'm not. I'm just saying we should take into account the whole thing. And also, I love America. I love all my American screenwriter friends. I love working with Americans like Jay Sheldon. However, any when I say these criticisms, it's in order for us to gradually build a better world together. I'm pro-American as shit, like for real. I believe America is one of the greatest countries in the world. I love visiting America. However, I think there's much to be done for America to be more integrated with the rest of the world. Assalamu alaikum.
All right. Walaikum salam. I will talk to you very soon again, Zain. Thanks so much for everything. And we will see you on the other side.
Peace.
All right, that's it, folks. Thanks for joining. Hope you enjoyed that with our special guest tonight. And we'll see you again on Wednesday night, 10 o'clock Malaysian time. Until then, I'm Jay Sheldon, and I'm not wearing pants. Good night.